The press is now openly rooting for Jen Psaki. White House reporters gushing over the press secretary in a magazine feature, saying things like, "She takes questions from everybody. She doesn't get rattled. She doesn't lose her cool. She's a pro, you know, she's unflappable. And she's like any other competent, professional, pleasant, lovely press person from any other era." I don't know, Dana. Is Jen Psaki getting 10 questions a day about how racist her boss is, or how her administration is treasonous, or trying to hurt women and children and immigrants? I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, she is not getting that. I don't think I've seen press like that for a press secretary since Tony Snow. The press, as I recall, as I just remember, they absolutely loved him. He would love to spar with them from the podium, but he was did it in such a gentle way, and also he was just friendly to everybody. He'd bring cookies in and things like that. Not that he was bribing people, and not
cookies.
that would have worked anyway. In a Republican administration. The other thing with the reporters, many of whom I know, is I would just say, like I've said with Dr. Fauci, like, you don't have to answer every press call. You can take a pass. Like, it's okay. Take the weekend off. You don't have to answer it. If that's how you feel, great. But you don't always have to advertise it.
Greg, I remember the day that Trump's guys killed Soleimani. The press room was hostile. when he brokered a Mideast peace deal, the press room was hostile. I mean, come on, the guy couldn't get a break.
Being a press spokesman for a Democrat is a really, really easy job, because you're playing with you're on the home field advantage, right? You're dealing with a media whose toughest question will be, "What's your recipe for brownies?" I think she did make them brownies. Yeah. So it's kind of like running a ice cream parlor on a hot day. Everybody there is just really happy to see you, and I love how the compliments they were giving her was that she's sunny, professional, doesn't get rattled. They were basically subtweeting the prior administration. It really wasn't an argument. It was like they had this idea, it was kind of all directed at the people before her, and they had to stretch it to an improbable degree. And because I'm sure Jen Psaki is very nice. I don't doubt that. But is she nicer than Kayleigh? Is she nicer than Dana? I don't know. I just think that it has nothing to do with niceness. They just don't like Dana's or Kayleigh's politics. They like Jen's politics.
Can I just add one thing to what Greg just said? My advice always to the private sector is that if you're hiring a communications person and you want somebody with a political background, always go with somebody that worked in Republican politics, because I guarantee you they have worked so much harder. They've seen it all.
That's a good point.
That's good advice. Yes, and you can't bake people brownies when you're working in the private sector, Dagan. That doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, but after all that gushing and fawning from those reporters, what do we get to see next? Them cleaning out her refrigerator for her? Or maybe waxing her legs in public? That's next. They're going to have to change their job titles to professional footstool.
I don't think Peter Doocy is going to be waxing Jen's legs. Do you want?
No, I'm.
What
I don't know where to go with that one,
Peter.
But I think I'll just move us away from this. But I will say, in my experience, press secretaries are often celebrated. I remember, Jim Brady for Reagan was a toast of the town. I think Ari Fleischer did pretty well. Joe Lockhart, Mike McCurry under Clinton. Jay Carney, Josh Ernst. These guys under Obama, they were pretty well liked. No, I didn't. Don't forget Dana Perino.
Don't forget Marlon Fitzwater.
Yeah, I agree, Marlon. But what about Tony Snow and Dana Perino? I think that you're not. I think the problem here is that it's a contrast to the people who are working for Donald Trump, but they were at a disadvantage because they had to defend all the lies about the inauguration size, all of his grievances. And even yesterday he's going on about the election was stolen. That stuff just gets difficult, and it put them in an untenable position.
All right. Well, maybe Juan, they'll ask about Biden hiding children when the press shows up. You think they'll ask about that?